strongest on the board and faceless. Um,
How,
but
how
yeah, aggro is probably this deck's biggest weakness,
yeah, I think you can kind of
followed by
see that.
shaman.
But how does it match up against even the mid-range druid? Like, how does that battle usually work out?
I said it's like a coin flip.
Just
It's
a coin flip.
just
Okay.
whoever has a really good start usually wins.
All right. Yeah.
Execute, shield slam are really powerful against any druid.
Yeah.
Um, and then two faceless carry and Sylvanas carry you through games. Drake kind of carries you through the game as well.
I do like the fact that you do have the option for the faceless Leroy, so it gives you another 12 damage type of burst. That's not just Gromish and Taskmaster. A lot of times, I feel like some of these warrior games, these control warrior games, you're just waiting on that sometimes that combo. So maybe you can get like back to back 12 damage bursts, which could be pretty cool.
Yeah, the faceless really makes the deck versatile.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can against Zoo you'll faceless Doom guards oftentimes, and then against Druid you can faceless your units or their
Mm-hmm.
units. Against Controller you can faceless their monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, man. Let's move on. If anybody has any last questions on this deck, we'll move on to some Q&A with the viewers. Okay, so let's move on, and I'm gonna take a look at Reddit, guys, and start asking some of these questions you guys have. I'm gonna sort by top. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I think S0 Sozin asks, the majority of decks currently played on ladder are based around either drawing into an OTK combo or mid range with a 10 plus damage finisher. Do you guys feel like there's currently too much burst damage in the game? I'll ask Massan this. What do you think, buddy?
Well, I think the burst damage actually makes the game more fun.
Yeah.
So, as long as it's not like 30 damage burst in one turn, like America Rogue, that's more like a solitary. But like 14 extra damage, 14 damage a turn, up to like 18-ish, I think it's acceptable.
Okay.
So I don't think there's enough. Well, all right, I think there's a like reasonable amount of burst damage that makes you more think.
It makes you more wary of trying to play around that sort of bit,
Yeah.
right? Trump, thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's all right. You see less of it when there's more aggro around, since aggro is more about consistent damage
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to burst. Um, Feels like a little bit too much, but I'm okay with it.
Okay. Tides, what do you think?
I'm okay with burst damage as long as it's not just aggro versus aggro all day. Like I don't care. As long as there's like multiple decisions to be made every turn
Yeah.
that aren't just trade units properly. I'm okay with whatever burst damage is in the meta.
You've complained about Gadgetzan in the past, so that's kind of one of the drawing. I guess one of the things that we see right now, right? Drawing into an OTK combo. Do you still think Gadgetzan's a big problem right now?
I've complained about Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned it in the
I
interview
mean, I
on
guess I
Deck
guess
Wars.
he's a little overpowered in Miracle Rogue with
Yeah.
backstab and preparation. It's very it's not like an obvious nerf like Unleash the Hounds was.
Yeah.
Um, there's like the only nerfs you can really think, or I can really think of, is +1 mana cost, and that completely makes the card crap. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can make it so it only can draw 3 in one turn, but that's just it's still going to be really strong in Miracle Rogue. Um, and then it kind of takes away from other classes that might want to do huge combos with it, which would kind of be sad because other classes wouldn't be broken with unlimited draw. Um, I don't know. I really don't know how to nerf Auctioneer. Um,
But currently, the draw mechanics are. A lot of people have been complaining about Unleash the Hound's kind of draw mechanic with the buzzard, and some folks have some complaints about the gadgets. And do you guys have any problems with it? I mean, obviously, Tides, your problems with the gadgets isn't, I guess, isn't as much as I was thinking originally. But
no.
do you guys think that the current draw mechanics are flawed in any way? Trump.
I actually like the fact that a card like Agitan is around because it allows for a very different deck. Whether or not that deck's a bit too strong, I'm not sure. There seem to be counters around it.
Yeah.
Tides was, I mean, from my experience in the ladder right now, Miracle Rogue is on the decline. So it seems like it may not be quite that good, at least against the entire field.
Right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's see. Well, next question is from VF Kaza. On a scale of 1 to 2 mana UT. Wait, on a scale of 1 to 2 mana Unleash the Hounds, how broken is Leroy Jenkins? On a scale of 1 to 2 mana?
I'll
It's
answer
about
first.
a 3 mana.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's about a 3 mana.
It's about a 3 mana. Nice.
That's how broken it is. Like, you know, it's Unleash the Hounds is still a strong card. Lear is a strong card at 3 mana.
Yeah.
So
Massan?
it's pretty equivalent to Unleash the Hounds right now.
I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly.
It's,
Uh,
okay. All right.
It's like in scale of 1 to 2 mana, like is he asking whether? Yeah, I'm not sure.
He's
But I
comparing a
think
2 mana Unleash the Hounds to
Yeah,
Leroy
he's comparing.
Jenkins right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
I don't think the Leroy is as strong as 2 mana Unleash the Hounds. Not even close to it.
Yeah.
But 3 is comparable, yeah.
I think it's about 2.5 Unleash the Hands.
2
2.5.
Somewhere between there.
Okay. All right, next question. A bit of an odd question from Coolboy Pie, but it says, does the side of your hand that you play a card from matter, especially for more high-level tournament games? For example, if you had a Flame Strike in your hand and drew into another Flame Strike, would you play the one on the right side of your hand, the newer one, instead of the left one? Okay. So would you, I guess, fake that you're top decking something versus something that you've been holding for a while?
I actually did fake a lot back when I didn't stream, but I completely dropped that habit when I started streaming because it's just pointless. But I'd have to say it depends on if you do actually do that. It depends on how the matchup has been played up until that point. Like, you know, it might be left. The correct answer might be left or right depending on the situation.
Okay. Massan, do you ever pay attention to, I guess, metagame your opponent to some extent with how you're controlling your hand?
Unless I'm afraid of him overwhelming me, I typically just use the one I just drew because he might assume that I don't have another one because I used the one that I top decked and overcommit on something that I can abuse.
Okay. Trump, you exercise this technique too?
I actually have thought about this for some time, and I'm going to take the opposite stand in the sun. So when you're playing a constructed or an arena game, and your opponent's been holding like 1 or 2 cards for a while, in just normal day-to-day games, you don't pay as much attention, but in tournaments, like opponents might just be staring at those cards, seeing whether or not they've been played. There's a serious difference between playing the 1 or 2 cards that you've held for the entire game or the one you just drew. So if you play the one that you've been holding for a long time, the opponent might think, oh, you actually are out of it now since you actually played the card I expected you to have. So now you're just top decking. And then say you top deck the same card, then you actually have another one. If you played the one you top deck, then maybe your opponent still thinks you have another one. So there's a different signal that you might be sending. And it also depends on what your opponent's thinking. You play the personality. It's sort of a minor point, but it is worth considering a bit.
Okay. Henry Audubon asks, would King Crush be OP?
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Can I make a comment on that?
yeah, sure.
On very late game phase, I very much agree with the Trump. Just giving a thought. Like on if you're at like last 10 cards, in that sense, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I also did bluff in the Monk matchup. There's one turn where well, I ended up not saying oops, but I was thinking about saying oops because I didn't armor up, but I didn't armor up intentionally because I had 2 cards left and I needed Grom,
Oh,
and
right, right.
the shield slam would have killed my Grom if I drew him. So I wanted him to deal, enough
Nice.
damage to me. Yeah, yeah. So I felt like if I said oops, it would have been too obvious.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah. I guess that's like, maybe a mind game I was playing with myself, but yeah.
No, that's cool. I mean, it'll. I
I
think we'll
wanted
we'll
him
see
to
a lot
attack
more of
me
that.
to
Yeah,
bring me low
exactly.
enough,
Of
yeah,
course, right.
to shield slam Grom.
I think we'll see more of that. More of that in tournaments. That'd be really really cool, and hopefully, folks will point it out and that sort of thing. Because one of you guys were alluding, streaming really removes a lot of that kind of mind game gamesmanship type of thing. Since
Yeah,
a lot of
I've won
people
a
are,
ton of
are
matches
ghosting.
off of back when there's the Molten Giant charge combo.
Hmm.
I won a ton of matches off of like bluffing if I had Brawl or if I had the two Molten Giants, if I had the combo in my hand. Like I just did various ways of bluffing. I won so many matches because they'd think I had one thing, but yeah.
Well, have you a point where they've quit early,
No, no,
where they just
no,
concede?
no. I've never bluffed that much. No.
Oh man, I think I've done that one time where I do the combo really slow, and then they just concede because they just rage so hard. Whenever it was the Hunter combo a long time ago, I think.
God.
Okay, Henry Audubon, would King Crush be OP if he was 8 mana?
No,
Nope. That's what
no.
ties. Okay. What's the biggest issue with King Crush?
Any creature that costs that much mana, um, I guess has to have an immediate effect. Like if you compare King Crush to, okay, obviously Ragnaros is
Mm-hmm.
superior, more than likely, right? 8 to 9 mana, and Ragnaros doesn't damage himself.
Yep.
Also, if you compare him to like something like a Molten Giant, a Mound Giant, you're getting them out for way cheaper and the same attack slash uh, defense value. But yeah, the charge thing, it gives him an immediate effect, but 9 is just a bit too much.
Okay.
There's no reason not to put him to 8 mana. Same with Nozdormu. Like Nozdormu really needs a buff.
Oh,
He's the weakest card in the
Nostormu.
game right now.
Yeah, I think that would be so cool. And we've discussed Nostormu in the past. I wish it was a smaller minion. Period. Not a dragon, but
Yeah.
that's kind of Nostormu, so it's hard to get around that. Okay, let's see. Next up, Whole Wheat is Good for You asks, there's a popular streamer the last few months who streams Rogue exclusively named Freegold. His decks not only involve Miracle, but other tactics such as OTK with 1 to 2 mana addicts. If they're not killed, and overdrawing their opponent's hands and then milling them with cards like Cold Light, Oracle, King Muckla, and Vanish. These decks do really well against control decks like Warrior, Druid, Handlock in the legendary ranks. That said, what do you guys think about the use of those cards, let alone those decks, in competitive tournaments? Do you guys especially think milling can work in tournaments and not just laddering? Also wondering if any of you played him on ladder, and if so, what was your result? Trump, I get your opinion on what do you think about these type of milling decks?
It's I want to caution myself since I haven't really seen that deck in action, but I would say that it's probably not a milling deck as much as it is a take advantage of the fact that your opponent can't draw the cards so that you actually gain some card advantage. I would doubt that that type of deck wins on fatigue. So I wouldn't call it a milling
Okay.
deck. That said, I've heard of this free gold fella. He's a very popular Miracle Rogue streamer and uses a few offbeat strats, and I think that's great. Uh, these experimental decks could be really good if they make it into the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't personally played against him. I think that his results speak for themselves, though. So if he makes it to a high rank, then you should consider playing his decks.
Okay. Massan, you ever run into Freegal?
I have not. I would like to see this deck played at very high level first, like by other at the hand of other player as well to see holes in there. As far as the milling effect goes, I think it's just a little too inconsistent for now because you're banking on the fact he's gonna discard key card, but he might have that card already.
Yeah. Like losing a Leroy or something like that
Yeah.
in a Miracle. Tides? How about you? I mean, I know
I've
you're pretty
actually,
experimental before.
yeah, I've actually played, pretty much those exact decks myself a long time ago in the past.
Hmm.
Um, they're basically strictly worse versions of Miracle Rogue. Um, they're winning against control decks because Miracle Rogue's the strongest control deck, in the late game or mid late game. Um, like Mana Addict is better than Miracle Rogue if you have the perfect draw, like standard Miracle Rogue, but
Hmm.
very rarely will you have the perfect draw for a Mana Addict. The whole uh, Mukla, Shadow Step, Cold Light, Lore Walker Cho even, they can work in a positive effect if you have a perfect hand like Mukla, Shadow Step, and they don't have an answer to Mukla, like you're just gonna wreck them because you get to trade with whatever creature they play. Shadow Step the Mukla, play it for 1 mana, blah blah blah. Um, yeah, they're just fun decks. They're strictly worse than Miracle.
Okay.
Whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa, I want to step in for a moment and say,
okay.
not strictly worse. They're better in some matchups, and they're worse in some. And I guess from your perspective, you would say they're worse against what you would expect to play, and that's fair. Um, I was just reminded that I did actually play against Free Gold once, and he did beat me with the Mana Addict, and it's a fun variant.
Hmm. Could you see it maybe being a secret deck, that sort of thing, pulled out in a tournament? Because we've yet to see anything like this in any of the tournaments. Any of you guys? Could you ever see it in tournament play?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Heat check. Heat check, interesting. Hey, Tides, congrats on the tournament wins. Tell Ray not to pick up the slack. I was wondering, what do you do to prepare for tournaments? Beyond testing decks and analyzing meta, what's different about tournament play compared to ladder? I decided to get into Hearthstone competitive scene and wanted your advice on how to position myself for success.
Um, well, to prepare for Deck Wars, I was basically in full panic mode and trying to figure out what all the strong decks at the moment. So, I felt like Leroy Jenkins, no one's really playing that in Control Warrior, so I decided to hide that and not play it on ladder or anything until the morning of. Um, but I basically just picked out the strong decks, decks that I think can win versus all of the other strong decks. And I talked for the King of the Hill thing. I talked with Gara a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just giving me advice, and we were trading ideas on what we think is the most ideal shaman deck, and especially for I couldn't really prepare for any specific opponent for Deck Wars, but I could prepare for Reels and King of the Hill. So the Shaman deck was basically designed to be able to. We thought like 100% sure that, not 100%, 99% sure that he's going to run Rogue and Druid, and this Shaman deck was going to do you know probably 60% versus Rogue and really high percent against Druid.
Mm-hmm.
And Druid was his most unique and strong deck, so I really wanted to be able to beat that. Um, but yeah, it's really nice if you can have another really good player that you can collaborate with
Mm-hmm.
to prepare for tournaments, and then you get to. And then I do some test runs against some of my friends as well as my teammates um, for stuff like Reels Druid versus Handlock. I was actually doing that on stream with Raynad. Um, and then as far as like if I'm just doing it solo, I guess I am just thinking what decks uh, what do I want as my Vanguard deck, like against his lineup that he's most likely gonna put up. Um, so I guess for example against Admirable, I saw that Miracle Rogue could basically stomp on two out of three of his decks, and his other deck was the Miracle Rogue. I felt like my Miracle Rogue was superior in the mirror matchup because we got to see each other's deck lists.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose Miracle Rogue because I felt like it had the best chance to win against any deck that he put up front. And he made the right choice of choosing Miracle Rogue as well. Um, and I wanted to save my other two decks because I'm trying to think. There was I had Handlock and Warrior. In case his Miracle Rogue won against mine, I wanted to save my Handlock because Handlock was the next best deck against Miracle Rogue that I had in my lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that, you're just like preparing ahead of time in case you win or lose the matchups, and you don't want to lose like you don't want to lose your deck that can your only deck that can beat their deck for almost for sure.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I'm not making any sense. I'm explaining it wrong.
Well, it's just strategy on what to lead off with and that
Yeah.
sort of bit. Yeah, I get that.
You have to identify your most valuable deck, I guess, and you know.
It sounded like you led off with your most valuable deck, like at least against Admirable.
Yeah, because my other two decks, I kind of felt like they could counter his decks or counter his miracle. Like all three of my decks I made so they could be strong against Miracle Rogue,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like if his Miracle Rogue ended up beating mine, well, I can follow it up with a deck that is likely to beat his Miracle Rogue.
And still give you a chance the rest of the way. And
Yeah.
if your Miracle World wins, you could sweep it, kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Got it.
okay.
Cool.
It's just a lot of decision making and what order you want your decks, what order you expect your opponent to put up. And in King of the Hill, we didn't get to know each other's deck lists or our classes. So I played Druid in the first round because I felt like Strike Crow's Druid was the strongest against all classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew nothing about my opponent. So I just chose Strike Crow's Druid deck first. And against Reals, I chose Miracle Rogue first. I wanted to I didn't want to lose my Shaman deck because I felt like it was the most valuable. I wanted to play Miracle Rogue first because he might open with Handlock, yes, but Miracle Rogue I think is slightly favored in the Handlock matchup, even though Handlock is pretty good versus Miracle Rogue in general.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Good stuff. All right, maybe one or two last questions here. Darth Yoda 19 asked, Handlock Twilight Drake replacement. I've been using Handlock deck a lot in the May season. I feel like Handlock's biggest non-matchup weakness is dropping Twilight Drake turn 4 only to have it Earth-shocked or silenced. This seems like a gamble, inefficient use of mana. Since this is Value Town, would there be a viable replacement for the Drakes to get more value? If not, please defend keeping it. P.S. Keep up the good, awesome work. Shout out to Trump. Really enjoying his Twitch. All right, so Trump, given that you got the shout out, why don't you take this question?
Yeah, okay. So the reason why Twilight Drake's being run is because it is the ultimate value card. There's no 4-drop minion, which has more stats than it. I'm going to cautiously say that, but I'm pretty sure that's true, especially when you tap into it. The one weakness is Earthshock, that's true. If you truly wanted to replace it because like everyone's running Shaman or everyone's suddenly running Owl for some reason, then you'd probably put in Yeti if you want to be more aggressive or Taz Dingo if you want to be more defensive.
Okay. Massan, what do you think? Any replacements you could think of?
That's exactly what Trump said, actually. Like, unless everyone else somehow runs Owl or Shaman, I don't see any reason that you would replace, because even against the trade, if you think about it, if he gets a silence, then you still trade with their 4-drops, and you delay the game until you can get the Giants. So I think it's a good where it is. It has insane stack, but it needs some weakness to... It has some weakness.
Right. Okay. Tides? Any thoughts on that?
Yep, Earthshock and Owl are its counters, and any other silence, Twilight Drake typically still gets value against. In deck cores, I put in Yeti and Senjin, and had 0 Twilight Drakes, but I think I regretted that decision. I didn't really play the Handlock much, but...
You ended up changing it on the last day, right? I think you swapped it back in.
First day I had Twilight Drake, second day I had 1 Taz 1 Yeti.
Yeah.
I figured since there's a lot of shamans and handlock in that tournament, that I'd make that change.
Yeah.
But even if you're going against shamans, like they do need to have Urshock in their hand. And late game, you can Shadow Flame it, and Urshock is actually strong against you mid late game as well if they're not forced to use it on a Twilight Drake, because they want to get through the taunts and just deal that extra damage when you place your Molten Giants. So
Okay.
I think it's pretty core in Warlock still.
Okay, last question.
Oh, overridden.
Overridden,
So this
okay.
just in.
Yeah.
The Hearthstone World Championships prize pool has been decided, and there is a 250,000 prize pool dollars. First
Wow.
place getting $100,000. News just released about 30 minutes ago.
All right, let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's just there's a question here about the 100,000. So, 200,000 is that 100 for first? Oh my gosh,
100,000
it
for
is
first.
100,000 for first place. This is crazy. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, let me switch over here. All right, for those of you who haven't seen the announcement, here we go. Yeah, so 100,000 first place, second place 50,000, third and fourth 15, which is already great. Fifth through eighth 7,500 and 5,000 for 9 through 16. Okay, so top 16 getting money, but first place 100,000. Reactions, Massan, what do you think?
I think it's really good. Really good for Hearthstone scene, and to get money to just be there.
Yeah, I mean it was already great
Yeah,
just to be world
it's
champ,
really
but
good.
man, 100,000 is crazy. Tides, 100,000.
Uh, this is actually a really good sign, because obviously, but Blizzard in the past has not helped esports as much, and they're helping out Hearthstone in the esports realm already with like a tournament like this. I think that's a really good sign coming out from Blizzard, and that's a decent amount. I think this is just the start, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Trump.
So I looked into a bit of the format. So the good news is whoever actually makes it into the BlizzCon main tournament, I believe the World Championship, is guaranteed at least $5,000 because 16 people are going. This is just on a quick glance, but I think that might be right. The tough part is qualifying into the main tournament,
Yeah.
where there's going to be over 100 people qualifying for 4 spots, I believe. But that is going to be some heavy competition, and of course, they're really strongly encouraging the ladder with this, which is great.
Yeah.
Going to see some really strong play in constructed.
So you guys making a push the last week of the month here? I mean, we're almost coming down into the last week of May, and that's usually when it gets pretty crazy when we're talking about racing for the top 16. Are you? Or I know Trump, you are, but Massan Tides, you guys gonna try and make a push this month?
I'm gonna be pretty busy. I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
If I do, it's gonna be in the last 4 or 5 days.
Massan, how about you? Oh, you muted? Oh, you're still muted. That's what it is.
There we go.
Try and make a
Alright.
push this season.
For me, I don't actually know if I can participate in EU or NA qualifier, since I am Korean
Oh,
citizen.
that's right.
And
That's right.
as for Koreans, OGN has given 2 tickets, and they have not made an open qualifier or tournament in the past. So I'd like to see that happen if it happens. If it doesn't happen, I will be sad because they're just gonna send whoever went to OGN Invitational, I think.
Oh, that's who's gonna make it in to the.
Well, if they don't make it open, and they haven't made it open, I don't think in the past
Okay, I see.
for other games.
Question. It's only available via ladder to get into the qualifiers.
I thought so. Is that not the case?
Oh no, I'm just asking if.
I thought you had to at least get into the qualifying tournaments, which
The way that I understand it is there's 16 times 6 people who are qualifying from the ladder, 6 months.
right.
That's 96, and then I think there's gonna the thing says, and this is for Europe, there's 130 players who make it in, so it sounds like a little bit over 30 people will be getting in via tournaments, community tournaments or last call tournaments.
Cool. Oh, that'd be really great. Okay, so that's kind of what Massan was talking about there with the OGN possible invites. That'd be great. But no, this is really exciting. I mean, 100,000. Yeah, 100,000 is a lot. There's not many esports right now that has a first place of 100,000. I think we're a little bit jaded when we see like the international that has like 6 million for number one, but 100,000
And
guys,
counting.
that's pretty amazing. Yeah, and counting, right? But this is the first step for Hearthstone, and it's really great that Blizzard's actually making a step with this. And who knows, maybe we'll see some cool type of compendium type of things with Blizzard, and the Hearthstone prize could be somewhat crowdfunded too, and into something enormous, amazing for all you players also. So really exciting. Gosh, can't wait. Definitely can't wait. Definitely push for the ladder, guys, this season or whichever month that you have the time to try to get into the top 16 and just qualify for the tournament. When's the last month? Do you guys know? Is it September, October? Because BlizzCon's in November.
It's August, so I
It's
actually
August, okay.
said 6 months, but 5 months, and
Okay.
one of the months is done,
Wow.
so four
Yeah.
more months.
August is coming up, so it's going to be crazy competitive in the next few. Good stuff. All right, well, there was one more question I was going to ask. I'm not sure which it is now. Let me see.
I think that's an exciting enough.
Yeah, that's probably exciting enough ending there. But let's wrap the show, guys. Tides, Massan, great having you on for the first time, and hopefully you guys had a good time. But you want to do some shout outs and thank yous? Start with Tides.
Oh, shout out to Tempo Storm, the team with Reynad, Rekful, and Gara. Possibly more in the future. And I'm looking forward to DreamHack coming up. I'm looking forward to the Lord of the Arena tournament coming up. And just one other thing, but I forgot. You guys can go.
Massan.
Well, shout outs to my team TSM, Team Solo Massan, Team Solo Mid. And it sponsors Alienware, Kingston, and Lost Tech. So, and I believe they're trying to recruit more players, so check them out in future. I think Ty's already made the shout out for Lord of the Arena. So please stay tuned on Sunday.
Okay. Trump?
Yeah, shout out to Team Solo Massan again. I really like the arena tournament, so be sure to check that out on Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific. And shout out to Amos, who will be joining me in a duet sometime this weekend, I believe, if most
Oh my
likely.
god.
Yes. That's going to be awesome. Oh my god. Is that going to be live on your stream, or is that going to be a YouTube video, or?
It'll be on my stream. We're gonna set the logistics, but should be able to set up sometime this weekend.
Okay, awesome. We got Lord of the Arena, and we got duets by Trump and Amaz. That's a pretty packed weekend there. I'll just end things off by thanking you guys, obviously, for doing the show. All of you viewers for watching, too. I'll reiterate once again, Lord of the Arena. It's going to be this weekend. It's going to be on Reynad's stream, too. So definitely check it out there. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be casted by Crip and Frodan also. So good stuff. And I think that's going to be it, guys. So for Value Town this week, this is Tides of Time. Massan, Trump, and ChanManV. We'll see you next time. Later.
Thanks for having me. See you.